Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy Mr. Oh My Lewis back at you with another video. Oh yeah, and today we're going to be talking about how you should have everybody around you earn your trust and your comfort. Alright, so if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe and make sure you hit the notification icon and make sure you hit the like button, of course, because I need more likes on my channel. So make sure you like this video. If by the end of it you end up liking it and you end up learning something or becoming aware of something, so because it really helps out the channel and everything. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Before we start, I'm gonna pour myself some water. This is black water. Oh yeah, I don't know how many of you have heard of black water, but black water is very delicious, very nutritious. Actually, this water is very trippy because it's black. Like it looks like it's something else, it looks like it's Coca-Cola or something like that around those lines. It just looks like another drink, but when you actually take the sip, it just tastes like water. So like it's kind of trippy, but anyway, I got my water. So let's get on to the video. So you see, you have the comfort, right? So perhaps you have a couple people in your life right now that they're trying to get into your life, right? And I made a separate video in which I talk about like how people cannot really afford you, and I called that video "You Can't Afford Me." And in that video I sort of talked about like how you should have people really show their value to you and see if if they're a good fit for your life or not, because a lot of people just try to intrude into your life. They try to get in there and sort of like take your value and not give you any value back. And this is just really, at the end of the day, it's really just manipulation, to the core. And that's really what I want to avoid, you going into. So like, yes, make sure you go watch that video if you want to learn even more about this topic. But in this video, I kind of want to talk about like how a lot of people, sort of want to assume that, you're going to trust them right from the start. You're going to earn their comfort. And the thing is that you shouldn't. Like, people are wrong to assume that you're just going to give them their trust, especially as an introvert, because if you might have noticed, us introverts, we tend to go through a little process, where we like to analyze the person. We like to get to know the person throughout a very long period of time before we decide if we're going to feel comfortable around this person, if we're actually going to trust this person. But here's the thing, like, there's a lot of people who they're very entitled to this trust and to this comfort that, just because a lot of people already express those type of emotions to them, they give them that feedback that they're trustable and that they're very soothing, and that they're people that, that really provide comfort. They tend to assume that everybody else is just going to see that as well. And the thing is that with introverts, it doesn't work that way. Like, once they come across an introvert, they'll realize that, hey, you know what? I'm gonna have to earn this trust. And the thing is that I've had a lot of people, actually, as a matter of fact, I had a friend. It's actually one of the ones I cut off. That she would assume that I would just just right from the start I would have this trust and this comfort around her. And the thing is that I didn't. And I try to show her many times that you're gonna have to earn that. I don't care how nice you are. I don't care how transparent, how honest, how caring you are. It doesn't matter. And if you're an introvert, you know this very well, that it doesn't matter how kind and how good the person is. They still have to go through that process of really earning your trust. And never ignore that, because a lot of extroverts and just people in general who don't understand introverts, they tend to sort of make you feel like this is a bad thing, that you don't trust people right from the start, and that you just don't feel comfortable around people right from the start, even around good people. And that's because they feel like you're some sort of like weird person, or that you're scared, or that you have some sort of trust issue or something, in your childhood that makes you want to always doubt people and stuff like that. But the thing is that's not really the case. Now, however, there's sometimes that is the case. So I can make a separate video on how to address those things. If you've been hurt in the past and everything, and this pain from the past is preventing you from like really starting up new relationships in the future. But for the most part, that's not really the case, actually, with introverts. For the most part, it's actually the fact that we just tend to go through this process naturally. And that's because us introverts tend to have a very logical mind, very analytical and just logical mind. And the thing is that in order for us to give our trust and to give our comfort to somebody, it has to logically make sense. You know, it doesn't. It's not just about emotions, as opposed to most introverts and people who are just not introverts. You know, like they tend to just feel that connection, feel that trust, feel that connection, like right from the start. And there's like really no process to go through, because it's like just two good people coming together, and that's pretty much enough for them to really trust each other. But with introverted people, it doesn't work that way, because like I said, we're more analytical and we're more logical, so we need to go through that process of really introspecting, how we feel about this person. At the same time, go through a few experiences with this person. And when I say experiences, I don't just mean going with this person, like working with this person, or doing one specific thing with this person. Because if that's the case, then what's going to happen is that we're going to build a situational comfort and situational trust, meaning that we're only going to trust this person and feel comfortable with this person when we're doing that one specific thing. So if we're not doing that one thing, or anything similar along those lines, the trust and the comfort is all gonna fall off. And so yeah, and most people who are not introverted, they don't understand this. They think it's like some something out of this world and stuff, but that's really how it works. Like they really have to go through that process. And I myself, I make people go through those processes. Like I don't trust people like right from the start. I don't care what their reputation is. And that's another thing too. Like a lot of people feel very attached to their reputation. So if they have a reputation of having people trust them all the time, having people being comfortable around them all the time, this really becomes their identity, and they become really attached to this image of themselves. And so when they're out there meeting new people, they just assume and expect that people are just going to respond that way, because they have all this feedback from other people that that's the way they responded to them and stuff like that. And so that's the thing you have to understand here, that we're not all the same, especially us introverts. We got to make people go through that process. And really the point of this video is for you to really embrace that and not ignore that. If you're in that situation where you feel like you have to make that person go through those hoops, then make him go through the hoops. At the end of the day, it's going to be very worth it, because the only people who will bother to even go through those hoops are the people who really care about you, and the people who actually want to become friends with you. And most likely, it's going to be another introvert. Most likely. Sometimes once in a while, you'll rarely ever get an extrovert wanting to go through those hoops and wanting to actually be friends with you. That's rare. Like the extroverted person will have to be very knowledgeable about introverts and extroverts, by definition, and he would have to have a mutual respect for the two of them and stuff. But which is not very easy, because extroverted people tend to be mostly outside. Like I've said, they're more of like, they interact with the world and they get their information from people, and they're always sort of out there. They're not really introspecting into themselves. They're not really questioning themselves. They're really just putting energy out there, and that's really how they function, and that's perfectly fine, for them. But for us, that's not exactly how it works. And so yeah. So really, I mean, make people earn your comfort and make people earn your trust. All right, your trust and your comfort are one of the most valuable assets that you have as an introvert. And here's the reason why. Because when somebody can trust you, when somebody can feel comfortable around you, and when you can feel the trust, you can feel the comfort around other people. The trust and the comfort that a introvert can provide is so much deeper than what an extrovert or somebody that's just not an introvert can provide. Because we as introverts, like I said, we are very good listeners. I don't know if you've known this, but we're just very good listeners. And I've made a couple videos here on my channel on how to become a better listener, but not specifically how to become a better listener, but really how to have more empathy. And that's really what it comes down to. That's really the reason why you should even want to listen. That's really the foundation of listening. Of course, I could make a more technical video in which I can show you exactly, how to listen and stuff, the process that goes into it. But really having empathy for the other person is really the foundation of wanting to listen. Because if you have no empathy for the other person, then you really don't care. And if you don't care, then pretty much like if you start to implement like the strategy and everything that goes into listening, then it's coming from a very manipulative place because you don't care about the other person. There's no empathy. And so, but yeah, so the trust and the comfort that an introvert, once you find that you can trust and you can find comfort in someone, it's very it's like a it's sort of like a, how can I explain this? It's like you have like a little ally there. So you as an introvert, you can provide a massive value. Once somebody else, once they gain your trust and they gain your comfort, they're able to they'll pretty much have access to you, like completely. And as an introvert, we tend to be pretty smart and we tend to study a lot. And not only that, but we tend to be pretty good at introspection and really analyzing stuff, and anything that has to do with personal development and personal life, really in general. Now, of course, you can improve upon those, but naturally, we have a very good sense of what's going on. So yeah. So just think about that. Like when they earn your trust and your comfort, they're really getting a big bonus out of that because, like I said, an introvert can really do a lot of things for you. And you being the introvert, just know that you can provide so much value to those people because, like I said, you're able to really dig deep into a lot of situations. And of course, you can become a very good listener as well for that other individual. But that's a very precious skill. And like extroverts themselves don't get that skill as much because, like I said, they're always outputting. They never input as much. So not never, but they just don't input as much as introverts do. So then maybe these extroverted people, they just don't have anybody to really talk to and to really listen to them and really help them break down their experiences and break down the things that are happening in their lives. Because for the most part, they tend to hang out with all these extroverts as well, and so extroverted people all together, they sort of just go in circles. That's really what I've realized, because I'm surrounded by extroverts, and that's something that I tend to notice a lot. Like they just like surround themselves in circles, and they go in circles, and their conversations really go in circles, and it doesn't have like a clear direction as to where it's going. It's not very solution oriented. It's mostly like they're trying to like really backwards rationalize everything that they've done and really trying to make sense of it, but not actually make sense of it. Like they're trying to make sense of it in the way that they're okay with what they did, but but not in the sense that they're trying to like break it down so that they're able to improve next time. As opposed to us introverts, we're very solution, very result oriented, and so every time we have a conversation with somebody else, we're always trying to reach a result, a conclusion, something that's gonna change the narrative of stuff, moving forward. And yeah, extroverts just don't have this, and so that's where you can come in. But like I said, this is a very precious skill, and don't let anybody like come in and just try to take that away from you, and you know try to assume that it's not valuable, because it is very valuable. And I've realized this within time. Like at first, I thought it was just like, oh, like I'm just a good listener. Like I guess, like I'm not very good at speaking or not very good at making videos, but I'm very good at listening, right? But I never really saw it as something that was unique and special in anything, because the people around me, they mostly praised people who, and they mostly still praise people who talk a lot, people who speak up, people who are able to communicate with the world, right? Who are able to output, and those are the people who get really recognized for the most part. But introverts are really the ones who help them really get there. If you really think about it, most of these people who are out there, they're speaking and everything. They usually have introverts behind the scenes who are advising them, who they can those extroverts can share their thoughts with, and these introverts are very good at breaking down everything that's going on in their lives and tell them, okay, based on what you've told me, you got this, and if you want to change and you want to achieve this one thing, you're gonna have to change these things and these things and these things. Now go out there and do it. And so the extrovert, if, that's when the extrovert and the introvert can really work together really nicely. But like I said, you have to go through those hoops, and that's why you see a lot of extroverted people who are in charge. You tend to see them like they really like to bond, with the people that they work with, whether that's a work environment or that's a business environment. Like they always try to take care of their introverted people because they know that that's what introverted people need. They don't need to be they don't need to be praised, by the world and everything, but they do need to be they need to have a sense that, hey, you know what, like your work is getting appreciated. I'm going out there, I'm doing what you're telling me and stuff like that, and like I really appreciate your work. And that's really what introverts want. And sometimes we don't even want it. If you're an introvert, you may be watching this. You may be like, yeah, like I output work and everything, but I don't really need the validation because for the most part, we can validate ourselves. We plan out what we gotta do, and then we set up a strategy. We go, we implement it, and we get what we want. And usually, that's enough fulfillment for us. We don't really need anybody to, praise us. But once in a while, it's kind of nice to have that. And it's like whatever. But but yeah, have people earn your trust and have people earn your comfort. There is nothing wrong with that. Don't let anybody make you think that this is some sort of like evil shit. That, oh, like you have some trust issues. Oh, why this? Why that? Why are you so quiet? Why are you so shy? Why you don't want to talk? Why you don't want to do this? Why you don't want to do that? No, like people have to earn your trust, and that's just really the truth of the matter there. And so yeah, just don't let anybody like really, you know, trick you into thinking the opposite because that's just how you function. And you're gonna have to embrace that, accept that, and really work with that, and have people work with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Like it is what it is, and so yeah. So that's pretty much the end of the video there. I just wanted to just ramble a little bit about that topic. And yeah, I wasn't even clear about how I was going to deliver this video. So I hope you've gotten some sort of value from it. Um, I really didn't have any outline or anything. As you know, I tend to improvise these videos on the fly, and usually it's in the morning. This is like the first thing I do every single day, and it's not as easy because I'm barely like waking up. I haven't had coffee yet. I haven't had breakfast yet. I haven't had nothing. Like I'm literally on an empty stomach, except for the black water. But I just have the water now because previously in the previous videos I used to not have water, and my voice used to start cracking, or at the end of the video my voice would feel like it's dying and shit, and like I didn't want to feel that way anymore. So like yeah. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure that you have people earn your trust and your comfort. All right. Anyway, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification icon. Make sure you like this video. Like I said at the beginning of the video, make sure you like it if you learned something or you became aware of something new. And I'll leave some videos here so you guys can watch more of my content. And in the meantime, I'll see you guys in the next video.